Tatum aggressive drive there, trying to make something happen on the offensive end for the Vikings.
Her first and the team's fourth as we reach the media timeout. Update you on the leading scorers. Mallory Powers and Kate Palmer knocking on the door of double figures, each with 9. Lauren Huber with 7. Katie Knutson with 6. For Augustana, given that they only have 8 points, there's not a ton to go around. Paige Melton with 3, Stone with 2, Tatum with 2, and Smith with the free throw.
Yeah, same song and dance we talk about a lot with the Titans. They're just have so many players that can score the basketball, and you're seeing that tonight. And like you said, with the Vikings only having 8 points, we're not seeing a lot, but they really need to try to find ways to get Melton and Pepez the ball.
Currently working on the lowest amount of points allowed in a half by Illinois Wesleyan. They're certainly in contention to break that mark, with Augustana only putting up 8, 4:55 to play. And the Titans so far are doing a great job at taking care of the basketball. They've only turned it over 3 times, and a couple of them have been decent gambles.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job of taking care of the ball when they get the opportunity in the offensive court and giving themselves, good looks at the basket. And then, like we talked about, just forcing the Vikings, into a lot of turnovers, which isn't giving them many chances, but they're also really guarding in the half court.
Matt Sossler alongside Brittany Carper. The Titans still riding an active run, 36-8 over the last 14 minutes and 17 seconds. Illinois Wesleyan perfect, 13-0 record, 4-0 in conference play. The Vikings 5-7, 1-2 in league. This is a rematch of last year's CCIW semifinal. We'll break down the CCIW at halftime, take a look at a very critical contest on the north side of Chicago between the Titan men and North Park, trying to create a triangle atop the men's side as we start to approach the midpoint of CCIW play. Can't believe we're already there. Push called against White. That's the 5th foul on Illinois Wesleyan, and for White, her first.
Yeah, Sawyer just trying to be a little aggressive there on Tatum out top and got 2 hands on her. But, again, she just really heats the ball up in the front court and makes it hard for the Vikings offensive players to even get in the passing lanes.
Tatum at the line, shoots 80% this season. Gets the friendly roll. Luigi Lamb in the ball game for Illinois Wesleyan, the Hong Kong native.
Yeah, you're seeing Titans go down the bench a little bit, give some of the deeper part of their bench some early minutes here in the first half.
Lamb and Sophia Feeney have played that platoon role as the 9th player. That was a key piece. We don't really talk about pieces that Wesleyan lost from last year to this year, but they lost several critical pieces. Lamb for 3, too much. White with the tap, can't get the O-board for now. Melton will give her credit for it in the turnover, and White cleans it up.
Yeah, that 9th, 10th person on your bench, you never know when they're going to be needed and called upon, and so it's critical for them to get some good playing time. So when their number is called, they are ready and can, contribute.
And that 9th spot last year primarily occupied by Taylor Tarver. Meg Moody had some minutes out of the 9th spot, and those were 2 critical pieces for this Titans squad. Getting officials conference, there was a foul called underneath after the basket on the rebound attempt. Count the bucket, and the Titans maintain possession. So a chance for a 4-point trip for the green and white. It's called against Tatum. That's her 2nd, but again, with it being a 31-point margin, unless you hit 3, maybe 4, fouls are irrelevant.
Not what you want if you're the Vikings there. You give up the offensive rebound, and then you foul on the basket too. So,
and another second chance opportunity for Illinois Wesleyan. They have 11 offensive rebounds. They're not out-rebounding Augustana by a ton, just 18-12.
Yeah, but giving themselves multiple opportunities on the offensive glass, which when you're struggling to score, if you're the Vikings, that's a big thing you don't want to give up.
And the main story is attempts. Illinois Wesleyan has attempted 34 field goals. That's just the 16th for the Vikings, and it's their first field goal since the 5:32 mark in the first quarter.
Yeah, a good little pull-up there, and a nice possession by the Vikings.
And one of the first positive sequences for the Vikings, a bucket followed by a turnover.
Yeah, and if you're the Vikings, that's what you want. You want to just build on that and see how many of those you can get, see how many stops and scores you can get to finish this quarter.
Sophia Feeney checks in. She has a very busy night. You heard the loud cheer coming from the top 8 Titan volleyball program, in which Feeney was an all-CCIW setter on. Two-sport athlete, one of the many two-sport athletes at Illinois Wesleyan. They'll be recognized at halftime.
Yeah, cool honor for her and her team, but also, nice that they're here cheering her on.
Malum, that's the second bank. It's a Wednesday. It's 7:36. They typically don't stay open that long.
They don't, but they are tonight, and that's when it's your night if you're the Titans.
So open a checking account if you must.
Again, Vikings a little bit better with the pressure here. See if they can get a good look.
Hall way long on the 3. Augustana 0 for 6 from deep.
Yeah, not making any threes in a game when you're, down by 34, it's hard to climb back in.
It's still on the rim from deep. We saw in that possession, Sawyer White just continues to be a pain.
Yeah, she just hounds the basketball relentlessly, making it difficult for the Vikings to initiate any sort of offense.
Titans lead by 34. No signs of stopping there. Lamb from deep, leaves it strong, and it's a trend I've noticed, Brittany, is when the Titans miss threes, they miss long, not short.
Yeah, which, if you're going to crash the glass, it's usually better for the offense anyway, the long rebounds, but, they're still going to see, shoot them, and they just got to find their rhythm here. No
whistle doesn't matter. Lamb comes away with the rock. Peyton Jacob, along with Martha Lippick, taking a knee at the scorer's bench. No friendly roll that time from Sawyer White.
Good offensive possession there, Malum with the extra pass.
Titans 5 of 18 from behind the arc. A 2-on-1 for the moment. Stone put on the brakes. White with the rebound and a foul called. And at this point, you could say it's frustration. You could say it's fatigue. Not a ton of fouls for the Vikings. That's just their third of the quarter, but you're digging really deep into the pockets trying to come up with something.
Yeah, some indecision there caused by the Titans at the rim, little pull-up, but yeah, they're just trying to make anything happen on that end to give themselves some chances.
Coach Beinborn will take a moment to talk it through. Not a ton of scoring updates on the Wesleyan side. Powers and Palmer still with 9. Knutson with 6, Lauren Huber with 7, Laura Malum with 6. For Augustana, 4 for Tatum, 4 for Stone, 3 for Melton, and then 1 for Smith. Augustana's eclipsed double digits, something they didn't do until the midpoint of the second quarter.
Yeah, they've gotten a couple of better offensive possessions here the last, minute and a half, 2 minutes. And so, again, as a coach, you're probably just trying to build on that, settle themselves down into the press. But like we talked about, not playing for 18 days, you're seeing that effect when you're trying to go up and down and compete with a team like the Titans.
And Cadence Tatum talked about their practice routine during the holiday break, and each coach has a solid method of how they run their practices, especially during the holidays. Even the Titans took their foot off the gas, let their players go home to be with their families during the holidays. But talk about having, the schedule's the schedule. There's some luck involved in it, but at the end of the day, you got to play what you got to play. But having that day one bye post-holiday break is a little bit of a disadvantage, especially when you have to turn around and play the top team in the conference, the number 2 team in the country.
Yeah, not when you would want the bye if you're the Vikings, and then not having anything scheduled after the break, which, that is a tough time. You want your team to be able to go home, spend time with family, but not having any games, and then the bye, and then you come out and you face, the top team, like you said. That's a really big challenge for a young team.
Sarah Bali shuffles her feet. Tatum had a very good conversation with the voice of the Vikings, Matthew Nickel, on Vikings Press Pass, and talked about a lot, including their work during the break, how they prepared for Illinois Wesleyan, and they've played against ranked teams before. Had a tight one against Oshkosh. They were in it for a good portion of the ball game. Ultimately, the other Titans north of the border slipped away. As Alyssa Epps checks in, got a little shaken up on that crossover down low. Erickson heads to the line with a bucket.
Yeah, Titans a little out of sorts there after the fall, and the Vikings capitalized, but I think, again, the game against Oshkosh, they play a completely different style than the Wesleyan Titans do. And so when you're not used to going up and down and facing the pressure, it's hard to simulate. And so I think, no matter what you do, it's a little bit different once you get to the game.
And that's the case. Whoever plays Illinois Wesleyan, it's talked about a lot on how you can only prepare for it so much in practice, but when you have to face it at full speed and when you don't know what iteration of the run and jump is coming at you, you have to take a second and prepare, and when you're playing with the second move, it's a big disadvantage.
Definitely, and I think you're seeing that tonight from the Vikings, especially a team that's younger that hasn't seen it. Maybe a more veteran team that's played against it a couple times would be a little bit more prepared for it.
Third foul on Smith. Feeney heads to the line, a chance for her first points of the day. I mentioned her platoon with Luigi Lamb, and part of that is just complementing skill sets. Feeney, more of a defensive type player. She's been in the system for a year and change. Lamb, a freshman, fantastic on the offensive end, but like any player, it doesn't matter who you are, it takes some time to learn any new system, especially one as complicated and as intense as Coach Smith's.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing about having, two different players at that position. You can kind of go with what you need and give them each a little bit of work depending on what the other team presents that night.
Pepez with the misfire. She was our player to watch, and she's 0 for 4 from the paint. Part of the reason behind choosing Pepez, again, a dominant post, that has been the Titans' weakness over the last year and change. However, her performance was contingent on Augustana taking care of the basketball, and the Vikings have turned it over 18 times, not even halfway home.
Yeah, they really haven't given themselves much opportunity in the half court to give Pepez much touches, and so we're not really going to see her get a lot of looks unless they're able to get themselves into the front court.
Jacob can't hit the layup. 23-second shot clock is off, and the Vikings with a chance to hang on for the last shot and get this within a 30-point margin. They turned it over the last time they were in this situation, and Illinois Wesleyan cashed in. Not the same amount of pressure from the Titans this time around. Looks like Augustana will have an opportunity. Berg to Tatum with 3 against Jacob. Forced to pivot around and can't close the deal. End of the first half. Illinois Wesleyan outscores Augustana 28-7 in the first quarter, 18-8 in the second period.
Yeah, a little slower second quarter there from the Titans. You saw a lot more bench players come in, but again, still had the pressure, turning the Vikings over. The last 2 minutes, the Vikings, showed some pressure, so it'll be interesting to see if they come out of halftime and try to maybe play that a little bit, give themselves a little bit more opportunities.
We'll take a quick 30-second timeout. I want to point out one thing before we do. Usually the Titans run off into the locker room, but they're staying on the court for this volleyball recognition, which we'll have right after this on IWSports.com.
Why is Illinois Wesleyan the #1 school in Illinois for jobs? Maybe it's because we're the AND University. That's right, A-N-D. And. Here you can explore the arts and study in a pre-professional program. Double major, and play a sport. Do an internship and study abroad. Your opportunities are endless. Set yourself apart with a degree from Illinois Wesleyan.
Back at Shirk Centers, we now recognize the Titan women's volleyball team.
After being picked to finish 4th in the CCIW's preseason poll, the Titans dominated the conference, posting an 8-0 regular season league record en route to the CCIW regular season championship. The Titans rolled to a pair of wins to claim the CCIW tournament championship and earned the program's 8th NCAA tournament appearance. The Titans won a pair of matches in the NCAA tournament, and their season came to an end in the Sweet 16, tying for the best national finish in program history. Taylor French, Hannah Teller, Cannon Boyd, and part-time point guard Sophia Feeney were named to the All-CCIW teams, while French and Boyd also earned spots on the All-Region team. Kim Nelson-Brown was voted CCIW Coach of the Year, and Taylor French an All-American Honorable Mention. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2024 CCIW champion, Sweet 16, Titan Volleyball Team.
Titan women's volleyball program being honored for the best finish in program history, a CCIW championship in a conference that was not easy to traverse, knocked off 2 ranked opponents during homecoming week, including a immaculate environment here at the Shirk Center for their homecoming match against Milliken the Friday before the Saturday homecoming football game. And they're just a super fun team to watch. And what impressed me the most, Brittany, about that ceremony is you see it a lot no matter what happens at halftime. Half ends, teams run into the locker room, get ready for the second half of play. I know Sophia Feeney was being honored. She's both an outstanding piece to the Titan women's volleyball team and the Titan women's basketball program. But everybody staying out, Titans supporting Titans, truly shows the great culture that is here in Bloomington.
Definitely. I think that's one of the great things about, a smaller school. You're always supporting each other. The sports are so close. Like you said, there's so many crossover athletes, and it's just a testament, honestly, like you said, to the culture and the, athletic department here for the Titans.
Tommy Gilbert, PA announcer, saying that Feeney was a part-time point guard. I think today she's already earned her overtime. She's got 5 points in 11 minutes of action, and I assume we'll see her on the court for much of the second half as the Titans have a commanding 46-15 lead. Powers and Palmer ahead of the pack with 9 points each for Augustana. Cadence Tatum and Carly Stone each with 4. Illinois Wesleyan, a 37-8 run over the last 15 and a half minutes. They lead by 34, and they lead by 31 now. It's just been all Illinois Wesleyan today.
Yeah, they jumped on them from the start, and once Melton went, out with her second foul for the Vikings, the Titans really just took off. Sawyer White checked into the game and really changed it. Now it's kind of that tough part as a coach. How much do your starters, your regulars play? Because when you're in the thick of conference, you still want them to stay fresh, have their legs, for those critical games that are upcoming. And so, but a really impressive first half from the Titans here.
Sawyer White has 4 steals in this ball game. Taking a look at what she did against the Vikings over her career. We know what Sawyer White can do on a daily basis. She holds the single season record in steals for the program, and she's on her way to becoming the all-time career steals leader, less than 100 behind Rebecca Erzman. But last year, in 3 games against the Vikings, had 7, 6, and 4. Her freshman year, she had 5 and 3 in a couple of games. Illinois Wesleyan as a team averaged 18 and a half steals a game against the Vikings. At halftime, Illinois Wesleyan has 11 tonight.
Yeah, it seems to be kind of what they, can do to the Vikings here. They pressure them, they turn them over, at a great rate. And Sawyer, I think you said 4. Ava has 3, and they've really just gotten their hands on a lot of balls.
Sawyer White closing in on 3rd all-time in career steals, and obviously minutes will be a factor for the rest of this game, but we'll take a look at how close she is to that mark coming up right after this on IWSports.com.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Back at Shirk Center at halftime, Illinois Wesleyan with a 46-15 advantage over Augustana. Matt Sossler alongside Brittany Carper. Brittany, before we take a look at some CCIW scores from around the conference, you've coached in this league, you've coached in numerous conferences. Does the mood change when you hit the next calendar year, you're after the holiday break, you know that your games are numbered until you get to those critical junctures, what I like to call t-shirt games.
Yeah, I think so. You become maybe a little bit more focused. You understand the task at hand. When you set out your non-conference season is great and it prepares you for a lot, and it's nice to go through it undefeated like the Titans have, but at the end of the day, you're trying to win a championship, and the first one on that is the conference championship, and then, you're trying to get yourself into the postseason and the NCAA tournament. And so your focus, your mood, your preparation, everything becomes a little bit tighter, as a team and a program.
Let's now take a look at some scores from around the CCIW, starting on the women's side. Again, Illinois Wesleyan with a 46-15 advantage over Augustana. They're one of their largest halftime gaps this season. It's a big day in terms of the CCIW. North Central and Milliken. Milliken, a struggling team trying to right the ship after losing Elise Knudsen, Bailey Kaufman, and Sophia Darden from last year's squad. New coach Kristen Hammer coming in, replacing Olivia Lett, who left for Illinois Springfield. Carthage and Elmhurst, what is the biggest swing game of the night. And then North Park and Carroll. Taking a look at some of the scorers. Milliken with a 33-30 advantage at the start of the third quarter. The Cardinals will have a lot of bus miles this week. They're at Milliken today, and then they'll head to the Shirk Center on Saturday for the first leg of a doubleheader with the Titan men. Even at 37 between Carthage and Elmhurst, when we start to look at the 2, 3, and 4 spots in the CCIW, that is big. And then the last score that we have on the women's side, Carroll with a 34-23 lead over last place North Park, and a score I'm sure a lot of you are focused on right now. On the north side of Chicago, the Titan men with a 34-28 lead at halftime. Hakeem Williams and Carlo Kolak, each with 9 points. Nick Roper with 6, as the Titan men try to force a deadly triad atop the CCIW, with North Park beating Carthage on Saturday. The Titans fell to the Firebirds in the first game of conference play, so it'd be 1-1-1, similar to what we had last year with Carthage, Illinois Wesleyan, and then Elmhurst. But this year it seems that North Park has taken the spot of the Blue Jays.
Yeah, lots of different games going on that are critical, and at this point, the standings, everyone's kind of looking at them, as a team, and, wherever you're at, I think you just want to take it one game at a time, and you kind of let everything else play itself out, but what you're focused on is what you can control, and that's the game in front of you.
And the Titans, again, with a commanding lead in Bloomington. Part of that due to the steals. The Titans with 11 in Sawyer White, hoping to climb up the ladder in terms of career leader. She is just 2 behind Christina Solari, and again, minutes is a big factor with the big lead for Wesleyan, but there is a very decent chance that she matches or passes Solari, if not today. I'll say this week, today or Saturday.
Yeah, if we were betting people, we'd probably, put a little money on that. But I think she has a good chance to do that probably tonight if she sees decent minutes here in the second half. But like you said, for sure this week, just so active on the ball, And if she isn't stealing the ball, she's creating a lot of turnovers for her teammates to have opportunities to steal the basketball, because that's the kind of defender she is.
And then once she surpasses Solari, Hope Schultz is right in the neighborhood. She'll just need 7 after that to match her. I mentioned number 3 is that initial target, but in reality, she could be number 2 before the end of this month. The Titans play almost every single day. They have 1 game a week in terms of the conference schedule. They have both their byes in January. However, there's a lot of time for Sawyer to get to that number 2 spot, and then it's a lot of work to break another Rebecca Erisman record.
Yeah, I think the number 2 spot's attainable, but like you said, number one a little bit further off, but, depending on how those games go and, the kind of pressure they're applying to the teams they're playing, 2's definitely a possibility for her.
If Rebecca Erisman sees her record fall before this year is out, there's going to be a lot of national records that fall with it as well, including Sawyer White's own Titan single-season record that will also go by the wayside. And she'll be 1-2 in that regard, knock Erisman to number 3. Titans with a 31-point advantage at the intermission. Second half when we come back on IWSports.com.
Go behind the scenes of Titan Athletics with Titan Table Talk, hosted by Tommy Gilbert. With interviews from coaches as well as student athletes, get to know Titan Athletics like never before. A new episode with new guests is posted every Tuesday at 4 p.m. on YouTube, SoundCloud, WESN, and iwsports.com/podcast. Thank you for listening.
Back in Bloomington for the start of the second half between Illinois Wesleyan, the second-ranked team in the country, in Augustana. Matt Sosler alongside Brittany Carper, along with the rest of our streaming crew. First day that a lot of the students and our student workers are back on campus, so want to give some of them a shout-out, including a couple that head straight from the offensive line of Norm Esch's football team, and also we'll talk more football as the second half rolls along. Caleb Himes, right tackle, and Dylan Meyer, left guard, in a Titans team that was fantastic in the run game. They're back. Glad to have them back on our stream crew for the rest of basketball season and into the spring, along with Nicole Duma, Wesley Stombaugh, and of course our great producer Tyler Wilson. Brittany, about to get underway in the second half. If you're Coach Beinborn, what do you do to get out of this hole?
I think you just got to, encourage your team to take it one possession at a time, find ways to break the pressure, give yourself quality opportunities in the half court, and then build on that. There's not a 30-point play in the game of basketball, so how are you cutting the lead maybe by 10, get yourself down to 20 by the fourth quarter. But as a young team, it's really important that you preach, to still play hard, see what you can do in the next 20 minutes.
And if you're Coach Smith, you've been in this position a lot. Up big at half. You look at today, and you also look at Saturday against North Central. How do you find that balance between maintaining solid momentum into Saturday, keeping players fresh, giving players opportunity, and keeping this margin where it's at, slightly increasing it, but most importantly, not letting it decrease a ton?
Yeah, that's a challenge because it's natural to look at the scoreboards here up by 31. But again, with a veteran team, you want to preach to them, come out, play hard, play the same way, don't get sloppy, take care of the basketball. I think we touched on it earlier, maybe, finding their three-point stroke. They're 5 of 19 from the three. They got a lot of good opportunities, but again, do the things that got you the 31-point lead. The game of basketball is what it is. So if the lead balloons to 40-50, it is what it is, but you still have to play your game.
Titans, per usual, going with their first five of the second half. Palmer, Powers, Huber, Knutson, and Ava Bardick. Vikings start with the basketball and a lot of work to do to try and claw back into this game. They were held scoreless for nearly 10 minutes in the first half, and similar start in the second with a travel.
Yeah, Melton trying to be aggressive there, just move the pivot foot once she got into the lane, maybe had the opportunity to shoot it, but again, trying to be aggressive, make something happen for the Vikings.
Player on double-double watch, Lauren Huber, has 7 points and 5 rebounds.
Yeah, she had a good drive there, kick out to Powers, didn't shoot it, right back to Huber.
And this time she finishes, she has 9. 3 Titans have 9 points atop the leading scorers. 3 of the 4 seniors, Powers, Palmer, and Lauren Huber.
Yeah, patent turnaround there from Huber. We talk about it a lot, such a tough matchup, and once she gets that deep in the lane, it's almost 2 points.
This is one of the longest we've gone in a game. Foul called down low on Huber. This is one of the longest stretches we've gone in a game in which a Titan has not reached double figures unless you charge it on Knutson.
Yeah, and that's part of the, when they're sharing the basketball, maybe not playing the amount of minutes they usually do, but again, they have so many people that can score the ball. You're seeing that tonight on display. And
even though it's taken the longest, it might be a game in which we've had the most amount of players in double figures. Powers, Palmer, and Huber each with 9. Malum and Knutson with 6. Sawyer White with 5.
Yeah, went to the bench, early there in the second quarter, and a lot of opportunities for other players to score the basketball.
The biggest obstacle is going to be minutes. I would guess we'd only see this group on for maybe another 5 minutes, and then if there's an emergency.
Yeah, I think the flow of the game is going to probably dictate that a little bit in terms of how happy she is with, how they're playing. But, again, 2 really good looks from 3 there from the Titans. Vikings did a good job of getting the rebound.
Titans 5 of 21 from behind the arc.
See if the Vikings can create a little pressure here.
Lob down low. Great job by Knutson on the front.
Yeah, really good defense there. They tried to go a high-low, post up Melton, but didn't quite get it over the top. Knutson with their hands on it.
Only the 6th Titan turnover on the day on the cross-court pass.
Vikings hustled back there, got their hands on the ball, which gives them another opportunity here.
And I'm sure that's one of the things that Coach Beinborn preached to the locker room. It's, okay, the odds of coming out with a win are slim. The odds of creating positives are fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. That had to have been a point of emphasis, is just come out of here with things that you can take away.
Stretch pass, Huber's into double digits.
Really good run there. Nice pass from Powers. Huber ran the lane well after the rebound.
It's a matter of when, not if, Lauren Huber will get in double figures. She's done that in now 13 of the 14 games.
Yeah, almost always there. Find a way to get herself in double figures. Such a good player around the rim.
Missed 3 from Berg.
Palmer pushing the pace here, trying to get a good look.
Eventually finds it. It's Bardick. Can't cash him. Palmer can't corral. It goes the Vikings' way.
Had a lot of opportunities tonight. The Titans have done a really good job of making the extra pass. They're not falling, but if you're the Titans, you're getting the looks that you want on the offensive end.
We'll give Palmer credit for the rebound on the last trip. We'll see what they do following that miss from Bardick. It's in and out of the hands. Not sure if she had a clean handle.
Yeah, those are always tough. You never know what the statistician is going to mark you down for.
It's sweet and sour no matter what. You either get a rebound plus a turnover or you get nothing. So
Yeah.
Not sure what she'd take there. And that's another play that'll have to go to the monitor on with Knutson. See if she had possession. If she didn't, the shot clock is still at 8. That's the deciding factor.
Yeah, so they're going to say no on that one. Previously, I'd probably just take the, no rebound instead of the turnover.
They did not give her a rebound. They actually gave the rebound to Augustana. They ruled no possession.
Palmer with another one here, looking to push the pace. Does a great job of distributing the ball for the Titans. Their leading assist person.
Powers defers out. Bardick thought about the 3, creates the long 2, leaves it just short. Melton steps out of bounds, stays here.
Yeah, good look there. I thought Palmer initially had her on the one more, chose to drive and kick to her there. Still a good look. She's getting a lot of good looks, just not falling tonight.
Titans shooting 45.5%. That's certainly a line that you like to see, with them shooting around the 30% mark the last 2 contests at Wheaton and at ETBU, or should I say neutral, against ETBU down in Texas.
They've been really, really good inside the lane, and that's definitely helped them with their percentage.
Huber had an opportunity in the paint. And Powers, the 3 ball, another offensive rebound for the Titans. They have 14.
Yeah, great hustle there by Huber to keep that alive.
Foul called against Smith. That's her 4th.
Yeah, Palmer there just kept putting pressure with the right hand there. Smith didn't let her, go, and ended up getting the foul called.
Titans have 14 second chance points, 30 points off of turnovers, 28 in the paint.
Those are really good numbers that you like to see if you're the Titans. Hard if you're the Vikings to be in the game.
Especially when you look at the margins after that, as Huber can't finish a short layup. 0 second chance points for Augustana, only 8 in the paint. And off of turnovers, only 5 for Augustana.
Yeah, and that's then been the big difference. We knew that coming in, that the turnover margin would be critical, and they haven't been able to really slow that down, and then haven't been able to capitalize. Good drive there by Melton. You know, it's what she really does well. And so her being back in the game has been big for the Vikings.
Melton with 7 points. Breaks up a near 3-minute scoring drought for Augustana.
Yeah, scored, and then, you know, Titans were quick to get the ball out there. White made a really nice pass to Knutson. She got fouled, gets herself to the free throw line.
Also breaks up a 41-10 run for Illinois Wesleyan.
Yeah, Titans have really done a great job. I think the Vikings have gotten themselves a little bit more opportunities here in the third quarter, but the pressure has just been really hard for the Vikings to even get good looks in the half court.
Titans have been scoreless the last 2 minutes and 19 seconds, and that continues as Knutson's empty from the free throw line.
They've gotten some good looks, so see if they can get something around the basket here.
And it's, again, an interesting coaching standpoint. Do you force looks that you might want to develop at the risk of going cold, or do you go with the safer shots?
I think you're probably going to try to go for some safer shots. When you're struggling to score the basketball, I think when you're a team that gets to the free throw line, you're looking to get an opportunity inside at the basket or get yourself to the free throw line. And the last couple possessions, you've seen the Titans do that.
Titans are 1 for their last 8 from the floor, 1 of 11 from 3.
Yeah, they just haven't been able to find that, tonight, but they've had a lot of really good looks, and so that's hard when you're a team that shoots a lot of threes. You know, you don't want to take that away, but again, find opportunities to give yourself the best chance to score the basketball.
Still leading by 31 midway through the third. 6 to shoot, one of the rare times the Titans have worked the shot clock deep. Still ticking with 2. White, tray ball off the toe, and a foul called against White on Melton on the crash.
Yeah, good defensive possession there from the Vikings. Kept everything in front of them. Wouldn't really allow a drive into the paint and force the Titans to take a long shot.
Lexi Hayes checks in for Augustana as we reach the media timeout. Deadlocked at 4-4 in this second half. We've seen a lot of missed shots on both sides. Augustana 1 of 5 from the field. Illinois Wesleyan 2 of 11 from the floor. But that narrative continues to dictate volume of shots, heavily favoring Illinois Wesleyan.
Yeah, creating so many opportunities, whether it's by turnover or crashing the offensive glass. The third quarter they haven't seen them fall, but you like the looks that they're getting, and so you're happy if you're Coach Smith because you are getting the right looks at the basket. They're just not falling, and some of that can be a little bit hard as a player. You're up 31 at half. It's kind of hard to maybe stay as engaged in the game.
You saw in your shot, Kate Palmer sitting in between assistant coach Brian Ayersman and Sammy Matuszek Cusack on the right. It's something that Coach Ayersman talked about in the pregame show on KP's role with the team. One of the captains, very vocal in practice, and today her performance backs it up. 9 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. I talked about it, though, with Coach Smith. She could have zeros across the stat line and still be the most valuable player in a given game.
Yeah, there aren't enough, words that you can put on a player like that when they can impact your team in a game when, they just have a presence about themselves. And with having so many veterans and a player like her, that's certainly helpful for them, and I'm sure she demands a lot out of them.
Get an additional stoppage. Not entirely sure what fours. They're talking with the scores table. There's not sure if it's a review. There wasn't a play that warranted a review on the last sequence. Maybe a scoreboard issue, perhaps.
Looks like the scorebook, so I'm not sure.
Titans leading 50-19. They sort that out.
Just a weird third quarter, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think there's an issue with the score. I don't think anybody's missed a basket.
No, I don't think so either, so I'm not entirely sure.
Katie Gonzalez and our officiating crew sorting out whatever the discrepancy may be. Patty Carmichael, Paul Novak, and Afton Calkins are 3 officials for this game as we get little bit of an extended media timeout. And if you're Coach Beinborn, how do you take advantage of the additional stoppage? Legs might be tired. You get an administrative, and that could be used to turn the momentum.
Yeah, I think if you're him, you're talking about, you're tied 4-4 this quarter. You're doing a better job defensively. Just how to continue to take care of the basketball, give yourself some opportunities on the offensive end. Again, you're just trying to find positives in this game, claw back into it, possession by possession. Being a younger team, there's a lot to take and build from.
And now PA announcer Tommy Gilbert has entered the conference at the scorer's table. Again, we have no idea what the administrative is. It's definitely not a video review, because I'd assume if that was the case, they would have already had the tablet in hand and probably have had a verdict by now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also guessing if it was, something visual with a scoreboard or something, that could be changed pretty fast as they get both coaches in to figure it out. Haven't seen a ton like this in basketball.
Yeah, it's hard to tell from up here really what's going on, but it was weird. It was right after a media, and there wasn't really a lot going on the court. So I guess play resumes here without...
We play on, no change on the scoreboard, and as soon as we know, you'll know.
The great mystery of officiating and score tables, I guess.
Yeah, that was not covered in my one semester of basketball officiating my senior year of college.
I don't think anyone knows what it was. So
you learn all the signals. You learn what to communicate to the table about. You do not learn about what odd conversations at the table that last a long time are about.
Not Vikings with the turnover there. White pushed in the front court here. Let's see what kind of offensive possession here the Titans can get.
Especially out of the extended stoppage, and White with a good start.
Yeah, a really good attack there. Titans were spread out, and she drove the lane. Nice finish there with her left hand. 7
points for White today. To go along with 2 assists, and now 5 steals. So 215 on her career, closing in on Christina Solari at 216. Berg with the triple. That's the first tray ball for Augustana today.
Really good looking shot there by Berg. She's their leading 3-point shooter. She's had 32 on the year, so big for her.
Speaking of first, Sarah Bali with her first points of the day.
Yeah, a little pressure there from the Vikings. Titans didn't have much problem handling that. And, you're seeing the Titans really back off just into the half-court man-to-man here.
Something you expect to see at this point. You don't want to show too much on film. You don't want to tire out your own players.
Yeah, and not a lot more you can do. You turned them over, enough in the first half. Scores well in hand, so you're really probably focusing now, get better man-to-man in the half court.
Shot, count it, and the foul. Let's see if this is a 3 or if this is a 2. If there's a toe on the line or not. It's on Huber.
Looks like 2. Yeah, that was tough. Shot clock winding down there, and Huber just kind of tried to close out. An awkward shot there by Melton and put herself in a bad position defensively there, and Huber fouls on the shot.
Melton can get to double figures with this free throw.
Yeah, the leading scorer, again, game really changed when she went out in the first half, and you're seeing why she means so much to the Vikings, especially on the offensive end.
A 2-on-1 through traffic. Kate Palmer, as Jones went into the stanchion, able to finish. Palmer's now in double figures with 11.
Yeah, Vikings trying to pressure there. White's thrown over the top a couple times now. It'll be interesting to see if they back out of that.
Another way to work on the press break, and another fast break opportunity for Illinois Wesleyan. 3-on-3 for the moment, slow it down. Volley for 3. Playing short, offensive rebound from Laura Malum in traffic. Sawyer White with room. Can't finish. A second offensive rebound for Malum. Tie up afterwards. It stays with Wesleyan.
Yeah, Malum all over the glass on that possession. Again, offensive rebound, kick out 3 is what you want if you're the Titans. 2 really good looks, just didn't fall.
Tia Lewis, the freshman from East Moline, enters. Lewis with just 1 minute of action today. Was 2-time second team all-conference in high school. Sarah Bali scored the last couple for Illinois Wesleyan.
Nice little out of bounds there, easy bucket there.
Mentioned Matthew Nickel earlier on in the broadcast. The broadcaster for Augustana does a great job with Vikings Press Pass. I want to take this opportunity to shout out all the D3 podcasters, especially Illinois Wesleyan alum Bob Quillman. I'll do this now because there's a very notable, I'll call it a Q theory, that's taking place right now. Illinois Wesleyan has only turned the ball over 7 times.
Okay.
They have 56 field goal attempts. I know when we talk about theories, we're typically talking about Wesleyan Academic All-American Dr. Bob Spear. Sarah Bali, heat check, can't go. But the Q theory is that if the Titans turn the basketball over 12 times or less, they'll have a lot more field goal attempts and should therefore win a lot more games. And everything's in check right now.
Yes, that would seem to work out if that holds true here. So we shall see.
He asked Lauren Huber that question on the QCast, and Huber was intrigued, asked if there was a drill to work on to help with that, and I don't know, is there a drill to help with that? Part of it is the tenor of the game.
Yeah, I think it's just how the game flows, and, you're not seeing a lot of pressure from the Vikings, so not putting the Titans in a ton of positions to turn the basketball over, but they've been really efficient in the half court as well, giving themselves opportunities instead of turning the ball over.
No whistle blows. Tatum comes away with the loose rock.
Great drive there by Palmer. Looked like some contact, but Vikings push the other way.
3-ball too much from Carly Stone. Augustana with 10 points in this third quarter. First time that they've hit double digits in a single frame today. Short corner from Palmer, rattles around. A good box out from Tia Lewis.
Yeah, a little disjointed there on the offensive end for the Titans. They were all inside the three-point line, not a lot of spacing. Still got an open look, but I think you're seeing a little tired legs here.
Titans will have the last possession. If they come away with the board, Cranks in and out, and Titans can hang on.
Good
Move
push
fast
there.
and get the right shot. Never going to pass it up.
Yeah, great rebound by Knudsen. Led the break and pushed ahead to Bardick and passed to Bali there. You're not going to turn that down if the Titans, no matter what the clock says.
She has 6 of the 14 Titan points in this third quarter.
Been a little bit of a spark for them after they started pretty slow.
Tatum, kick out Berg, denied by Bardick, and that's how the third quarter ends. Illinois Wesleyan had to start another run. They have a 6-0 run over the last 2 minutes and 47 seconds and grow their lead to 60-25. It's their largest lead of 35 points. Fourth quarter when we come back on IWSports.com. Become a sponsor of Titan Athletics through a media partnership. Showcase your brand to thousands in Bloomington Normal and beyond through in-house and live stream promotions. Contact TWilson2 at iwu.edu or kgonzal1 at iwu.edu for details. Tyler Wilson and Katie Gonzalez do a great job at putting on Titan broadcast, leading the athletic communications department here at Illinois Wesleyan. As we start the fourth quarter, Titans up big, 60-25 over Augustana. Matt Sossler alongside Brittany Carper. We finally have a verdict on what that meeting was in the middle of the third quarter. It was a discrepancy between book and live stats, and you may ask, why do they need to do that in the middle of the game? The discrepancy was on fouls.
Okay, that would make sense.
That is important.
Important, yes. Anything else, points or rebounds, does not matter. Fouls is a big one.
May not be a huge factor given how this game has gone. Titans still rolling with some of their rotation. Alyssa Epps also in the game for Illinois Wesleyan. 3 seconds. Erickson on the mid-range leaves it long.
Yeah, good defensive half-court possession there for the Titans. Again, not a second chance opportunity for the Vikings, which the Titans have done a really good job with tonight.
Epps, tray ball off the toe.
Yeah, a quick 3 there. I think if you're the Titans, maybe move the ball around a little bit more, but, checking into the game, trying to get a little feel for what's going on.
Titans 5 of 29 from deep today. Definitely not the cleanest night in terms of three-point shooting. However, they've compensated for it elsewhere.
Yeah, they've been really efficient inside the lane and in the paint and turning the ball, turning Vikings over and finding easy opportunities, so it hasn't bothered them too much.
Pass tip by Lexi Hayes. Mallory Powers inching to join the double-digit club. Can't do it there.
Yeah, good look there. Smith was kind of digging at her, trying not to foul too much because that would have been her 5th, I think, but Powers just missed.
She would be the 3rd Titan to reach double figures today. Foul called. See if they call it on the shot or on the floor. It's on Epps. Her first. And the team's first. And it's on the ground, so Augustana inbounds from the baseline.
Melton again doing a nice job putting the ball on the floor. Likes to get herself to the free throw line, likes to drive to the basket. So I'm sure we're going to see more of that here in the 4th quarter.
Inbound off the backboard, that goes the Titans' way, and kind of a microcosm on how the evening has gone for Augustana.
Yeah, not a great angle to get that little lob pass. The right idea, just bad angle to make that pass. A little pressure here from the Vikings.
Feeney's bailed out with a foul.
Yeah, right idea. Had her trapped in the corner, but just a little too aggressive there by Erickson.
Mackenzie Huber checks in for Sarah Bali, so Maya Smith going quick into the bench with 8.5 to play in regulation.
Yeah, I think we're going to probably see a lot of that here in the 4th quarter, get a lot of quality minutes for the bench.
Bardick, Knutsing creates space and finishes.
Nice little shot fake on the baseline there from Knutsing, gets herself into the paint for an easy 2.
It's always great to see when there's no one in their warm-up on the bench. It means everybody's gotten into the game.
Yes, that's a great sign for your team if everyone's checked in already with 8 minutes in the 4th quarter.
Second foul on Epps on the shot. Melton heads to the line. She's a perfect 4-4 from the free throw line. She has 10 points, leads the Vikings in that stat. The next closest Viking is Carly Stone with 4 and Cadence Tatum with 4.
Yeah, just been really aggressive tonight. Got herself to the free throw line, taking some good shots. So not surprising. She's their leading scorer on the year here, trying to still be aggressive in the 4th quarter.
And it's rare when you say a player that has scored now 11 points has scored almost half of the team's points and leads the team in scoring. Usually when you mention a stat line like that, a player's got 30, a player's got 40, maybe even 50.
Yeah, you don't see that too often, but the Titans' defense has just been so good tonight. That's the case. But Melton's been great for the Vikings when she's been in the game and really changed the game.
Number to keep in mind, the lowest amount of points allowed by the Titans in a single game was November the 27th of 2016 against Rose Holman. They won that game 66-38. So the magic number is 11 to create another change in the record book.
I think that's definitely within possibility tonight. The way the Titans have been playing, not as much full court, but still making it difficult for the Vikings in the half court here.
Factor in both benches coming in, so you kind of throw out the story of the game once that happens and it changes entirely. Pass through the hands of Huber, Vikings take over.
Yeah, again, with so many bench players going to play here, it's going to be interesting. A lot of younger players getting opportunities, so it'll be kind of interesting to see how the game flows here the last 7 minutes.
Coach Beinborn still with a few players on the bench in their warm-ups. Augustana carries one of the largest rosters in the CCIW. You go from playing against Carroll and Wheaton, teams with 12, 13, 14 players. Augustana carries nearly 20.
Yeah, and I think, again, though, if you're, have a younger team, some of those kids that are playing quality minutes, even in close games, you're still going to see them on the court probably a little bit more than what you would see further down the bench.
Lang gets a second chance opportunity. And when you have a larger roster, I noticed it a lot during COVID. Coaches would recruit harder. They'd take more players. They'd carry a bigger roster simply because the odds that a player could be out at a moment's notice before a game were extremely high. And also, in practice, if a player got sick, you might have to split your practice. It was in best practice to keep your team safe.
Yeah, I don't think there's necessarily a magic number, but you're right. During COVID times, there were a little bit bigger rosters because you saw, so many instances where somebody could test positive the day before and they were out. And, but having a larger roster allows you a little bit more flexibility in practice and gives you a few more bodies.
Travel called against Peyton Jacob, one of the most legendary coaches in Division III. Ithaca's Dan Raymond carried 23 during COVID, a team that had its heart broken in the round of 32 by Marietta.
23 is a lot for a basketball team, but, if he's legendary, it must have been a rhyme and reason behind it.
Over 500 wins, all but one season spent on the South Hill. 3-ball from Sarabali goes, and that breaks up a long three-point drought for Illinois Wesleyan. They were one of their last 17 prior to that triple.
Yeah, a really good look there from Sarabali. She's had a couple of them tonight that have looked good, so nice to see that one fall.
Mackenzie Huber with the steal on the way for a coast-to-coast chance. No foul called, stayed in bounds. And now the foul's called.
Yeah, a couple of aggressive drives there by the Titans. They haven't got the, whistle at the rim, but you like what you're seeing if you're Coach Smith still being aggressive, attacking the basket.
It's on Lang. Titans have a inbound underneath. And the thing about carrying 23 that's difficult is depending on the conference rules and definitely NCAA rules, you have a lot of players in street clothes for every given game.
Yeah, and I know once, NCAA tournament time comes too, they don't necessarily even get a travel or sit on the bench. So you have to make some tough decisions for, players that have been on your roster and participated in a majority of your games and practices up until that point.
Titans leading 65-31 over Augustana. Matt Osler alongside Brittany Carper as we play the final 6 minutes and change. Illinois Wesleyan has only given up 38 or less once. Again, against Rose Holman back in 2016. That's also the only game in which they've given up less than 40. So the magic number is 7. And again, knowing Coach Smith, knowing the way this Titan team plays, they're not going to play for that number. They're going to play organically to close this game out, ride some momentum into Saturday's doubleheader against North Central, but it's still very much in reach.
I think so, and that's the thing about Coach Smith's teams is they're going to play the way they play, like you said, very organically, and that's playing good defense, taking care of the basketball, getting out and running in transition. And so, it'll be important for these players just to have the same amount of, opportunity and energy as the regulars do.
Lamb buries the corner three.
Kind of what we talked about, such a good offensive player, comes right in and hits a three there.
1-3 falls, the rest follow. Lamb has 5 points today.
It's amazing what that does in, the game of basketball. You see one go down and then you the lids off the rim and a couple more go.
Off the foot, traffic down low. And another tie-up. Arrow favors Illinois Wesleyan. It's been about, 10-15 minutes of gameplay since we've seen a hell ball?
Yeah, we have a lot of those lately. We had a bunch early, but, the Titans did such a good job on driving lanes, getting their hands on ball, making it difficult for the Vikings to really put any pressure at the rim.
I know we love being here. I know the coaches love being here. I know the players and fans love being here, but sometimes the officials just have to express how much they love officiating this game by giving a thumbs up once in a while.
I agree.
Straight away, clanks off. Liv Myers with the board.
Nice box out there. Again, the Titans have done a really good job on the defensive boards tonight.
Titans with 46, a chance to eclipse 50 for the second straight game, and based on the pace of this game, that is very likely.
Definitely, and I think, again, that's such a point of emphasis is to get those rebounds.
Lamb has hit her last 2. The bench loves it here at Shark.
Really nice looking shot there from Lamb. And like we said, one goes down, and you see a couple more.
Blocked by Lippick. Lamb, a master of trick shots. Those last 2 aren't very tricky. Heat check. Oh, that's the second straight game where a Titan player has gone for a heat check and failed to hit the rim.
Right idea. She actually thought about it a little bit too much. She was open. Should have pulled the trigger right away.
And a fast break layup for Hayes.
Yeah, Aaron passed there, and Vikings capitalized.
Feeney in a bit of trouble with 5 seconds to get it over, and eventually finds Lamb on the carom. Straight to the tin, blocked by Hull.
Yeah, I think Feeney was waiting for someone to flash in the middle there, help her out. No one came. She just kind of threw it, and it bounced the Titans' way, and still were able to get a shot opportunity.
Throw it up, hope for a good result.
When the 10-second clock is almost there, it's kind of what you have to do.
Hayes, the freshman from right across the river from Augustana in Davenport, Iowa. Smith playing with 4 fouls, 3 ball from Smith. That's our 3rd bank today.
Kind of a payback there. Titans hit 2 early, and Vikings get 1 now.
It's my type of shot. I'm always a fan of a good bank 3.
If it's for your team, I think. The opponents, those are backbreakers sometimes.
I think there's a margin of excuse. It's like a let, hitting off a net in tennis or volleyball.
Yeah.
Jacob on the drive can't close. Where if it's a non-traditional shot and you bank it in, you clap it off. But at the end of the day, you make a bank shot, stick your hand up, say, I'm sorry, excuse me, didn't mean to do it, and you go play defense.
It's usually the case.
More subs. Sophia Classic, the freshman out of Sycamore, Illinois. I-8 all-conference, 4 games played in double-digit minutes so far this year. Titans leading 71-36. Again, 38 points allowed is the magic number we're keeping our eye on in terms of the lowest points allowed in program history by a Titan squad. Matt Soffler alongside Brittany Carper. 3 minutes and no field goals. That's the name of the game.
It's going to be tough. I think they're going to look back at that bank 3 and maybe think that's not the one that did us in. But, again, I think if the Titans are just solid here in the half court, they're going to give themselves a chance to stay under that. But, not turning the ball over is going to be critical too, as the Vikings have had a couple opportunities after the Titans turnovers.
And since 2012, in the 2013 season, 45 is the low number. That's second on that list. That was on February the 4th of 2017, home against Carroll. So there's a little bit more breathing room for that. You also look at the 45 against Wheaton.
Yeah, overall, just an extremely impressive defensive performance by the Titans tonight, regardless of, kind of what shakes out here the last 3 minutes. They've just done a really good job of guarding and turning the Vikings over.
I'll do a little stat correction in just a moment following this possession. There have been some numbers that have already been passed. A misread on my part on the stat line. Didn't hit sort on the spreadsheet, if you would. Can't do that on a piece of paper. So it's sorted by date, not by margin. Okay. So the lowest we've already eclipsed, that was 34, still against Rose Holman in 2019. So that's already gone. 38, we're going to do one more time, just be extra sure. That is the next benchmark. It's happened twice. Most recently against Concordia, Wisconsin on November the 11th of 2022. So we'll go with that.
All right. Well, still a chance to stay under that one. We'll see what we got here. It was the bank 3 that set it over.
That is true. Always come back to haunt you in some way, shape, or form.
They always do. Titans here just looking to work the half-court man, keep them in front.
Off the hand, and it hit off a white jersey last. The Titans will play in the first leg of a doubleheader on Saturday, 2 o'clock against North Central. Assuming this score holds with the Titans nearly doubling up the Vikings with 2 and change to play. Titans will be 5-0 in conference play, 14-0 overall, as we start to see a little bit of a difference in the conference standings. Take a look at the CCIW standings following the foul.
Second foul, number 23, Ella Chapman for
It's on Chapman, the freshman
Jacob checks back in
out of Lyle, Illinois.
Hayes for the Vikings.
Taking a look at those standings, Titans with a 4-0 record in conference play. Only team with a 0 in the loss column.
Yeah, and that's important. You're coming to the teeth of the conference here, and every game matters. It doesn't matter where you're at in the standings. Like I said earlier, you're responsible for the game in front of you, and so I think this team is mature enough to understand that and really go the one-game approach.
So Mia Feeney will shoot 2.
Feeney at the line for a pair.
Really good drive there by Feeney. Get herself to the free throw line.
So reading off the current CCIW standings, entering today's slate of games, Illinois Wesleyan 4-0, Carroll, Carthage, and North Central each a game behind in the loss column. There have been some byes through the first cycle of the double round robin. Wheaton at 2-2, Augustana 1-2, Milliken 1-2, Elmhurst and North Park 3 losses or more. And you look at difference in the loss column, that's the margin that I've used. It's a margin that a lot of people use to determine distance away from locking up certain accolades, whether it be a tournament spot, whether it be a first-round bye, and then the pinnacle, a CCIW regular season title.
Yeah, and when you're looking at it, and Carthage and North Central are one-loss teams next to opponents for the Titans. So important that they're approaching those games that way. And again, the closer you get, one game at a time, you're seeing the eye on the prize there.
One-loss team, not for long, the North Central Cardinals will be. They're trailing by 9 with 52 seconds left, about 50 minutes south of here in Decatur. Carthage up 7 against Elmhurst. Carroll with a commanding lead over North Park. Take a look at how much time is left at Tarble Arena between the Firebirds and the Blue Jays. The Titans will, I'd say, benefit no matter what from that game. That's the old theory when you play a double round robin, is if you win, you take care of business. There are going to be teams that lose on the same day. That game up in Kenosha, 32 seconds left. So barring a miracle, the Firebirds will improve to 3-1. The Blue Jays will drop to 1-4, and at best can finish 500 in the first trip through the conference.
Yeah, and when you're in a double round robin like that, playing at home and taking care of business at home is so critical. And Titans already having that game up at Carroll under their belt is definitely big going into the second half once you go through the first cycle. But again, every game at home is so important when you're in a double round robin like that.
74-36 here in Bloomington. Again, 38 is the number we've been keeping our eye on. Points allowed by Illinois Wesleyan will mark the second fewest since the 2012-2013 season. When this ball game is through, we encourage you to stay on the Titan Broadcast Network. Catch the conclusion of the Titan men as Lexi Hayes hits the magic number of 38. Mackenzie Huber on the drive up, and she heads to the line for a critical pair of free throws. The reason being Mackenzie Huber seeking her first points of her career and a chance to do it at the line.
Yeah, a great pass ahead there, good attack, so it'd be nice if you could, knock one down and get your first career points.
Gets it, and the bench loves it too.
Yeah, always a good feeling to kind of break that and get your first point, and makes it easy when it's at the free throw line. No pressure, really.
Split pair. A couple of key buckets from Titan freshman Josh Friedman as the Titan men ahead by 7 with 3:21 to play on the north side of Chicago. Nick Roper just made a layup, and the Titans lead by 9 against the Vikings, what would be a massive win for the Titan men. So when this game is through in 35 seconds of basketball, I encourage you to tune in to Eric Stock at what they call the Cracker Box. Very small gym on the corner of Kedzie and Foster for the conclusion of that ball game. But the Titan men, you never know, but they seem to be in cruise control, leading by 9, 3 and change to play. But based on what they did against Wheaton, you never know when the reverse can happen.
You don't. Momentum can change in the game of basketball very quickly. A couple made threes and a couple turnovers, and the game's, looks very different.
3 from Jacob. Toilet bowls in and out. Rebound by Epps. Shot clock is off. Lamb takes a 3. Banks the side. Turned over. Huber. Off the toe. And a chance for Augustana to hit the 40 mark with 3 seconds left. It's going to require a heave off the glass. Too much from Chapman. And the Titan defense rises to the occasion. Second fewest amount of points allowed since the 2012-2013 season, 75-38 over the Vikings.
Yeah, really impressive defensive performance by the Titans. Forced 27 turnovers, gave themselves a lot of opportunities with second chance points, and just really took care of business today at home, which is always nice to see.
We'll be joined by head coach Maya Smith and a player guest coming up after the game. And when you look at a box score like you do now, it's anybody's guess who comes up for player guest. You got Kate Palmer and Lauren Huber each with 11 points, 7 rebounds for Huber. At this point, you send anybody up, it works.
Yeah, it's such a balanced effort tonight. It could be any of them. They all contributed to the game and really jumped on them early and never really let up. And it was really just a solid performance all the way around, up and down the bench.
We'll take a quick timeout. Post-game interviews when we come back on IWSports.com.
OSF Healthcare Cardiovascular Institute has been named one of the top hospital systems in the country for heart care. This prestigious award by the American College of Cardiology comes from our commitment to providing the highest quality of care. From general cardiology to complex surgeries and the latest technology. Nationally recognized heart care right here. OSF Healthcare Cardiovascular Institute.
Post-game, following the Titans win over Augustana, Matt Sossler alongside Sarah Bali. And Sarah, let's talk about the defense.
It's our R&J. We caused, at halftime, I think we were at around 20-something turnovers, and we made so many points out of them. It's always our R&J that gets us going. Once we get those turnovers, it turns into offense, and then our offense sparks, and we just get going. So, the R&J helped us, obviously, during that win. So,
parlaying that into a quick start for the offense, playing complementary basketball from the jump, and then also heading into the locker room, having a big lead, you're able to relax a little bit.
Right, yeah, for sure. It felt great going in the locker room up. Whatever, I think we were up 25, 30 points. It felt great. We had kind of stress off our shoulders. So, we came in the second half, half court. We didn't do our R&J, and we still were aggressive. So, happy we came out with the win.
38 points is the second fewest amount of points allowed by a Titan team since the 2012-2013 season. Just complete. It's one thing. We've seen games where you're ahead and then game goes on, even if it's a tight game, but offenses for the opposition tend to pick up the pace as the game moves along, naturally trying to come back.
Right.
but this time there was no let up.
No let up at all. I mean, we went into halftime. We told we weren't letting up. We were obviously up a lot of points, and we weren't going to let up. We wanted to really build our lead and keep the lead going, so kept the defense up. And, I mean, rebounding too. We rebounded really well, I think, this game, offensively and defensively. So I think that kept us up in the game too. But, I mean, yeah, coming into halftime with the mindset that we're not letting up obviously helped keep the score the way it is right now. So.
And offensively for you, no points in the first half, but then lighting the match in the second half. How'd you get it going?
Just getting in there, playing loose. I think that's the only way to get it going. You just got to go in, play basketball, not really think about it. So, yeah.
And handling multiple defensive sets from Augustana, you've seen it a lot this year. Team comes out one way, they get in trouble, they got to adjust. How do you all adjust to that?
We have so many things. We were really prepared for them. Our offense, obviously, we have so many looks on our offense. We have 2 people that could be All-Americans. So if Lauren's not having a scoring night, Ava could be having a scoring night. But if Ava's not, it could be Mal, it could be Kate, it could be anybody. So we're always prepared for anything.
Today, I mentioned before you came up here, you could have anybody as the player of the game.
Right.
And talk about that balance that this team has where it wasn't somebody putting up over 15, over 20, having a dominant game. It was balanced from the start.
Yeah, I just talked about this with Bob Q, actually. Told us how balanced our team is. It's such a great feeling to look at the scoreboard, look at the stats after the game, and see 9 points, 10 points, 12 points, 14 points from 5 or more people. It's a really refreshing feeling. It's really, really, really great feeling to have a team that can have multiple double-digit scores. So it's amazing.
I just have to check one stat real quick. 12 turnovers and field goal attempts, 76. You mentioned Bob Q. 12 points, 76 field goal attempts. That's what he talked about with Lauren Huber.
Yeah.
12 turnovers, more field goal attempts. The line hits for today. You got North Central coming up on Saturday. What's it going to take to ride the momentum into that game?
Just keep playing our game. We're going into the game. We're going to every game with the mindset, one game at a time. Don't look past any team. Obviously, the CCIW, you never know what you're going to get. Every team is going to bring their A game, especially playing against us. Just go into it one game at a time, play our game, keep doing what we're doing. So, yeah.
Sarah Bali on the post-game show will be joined by head coach Maya Smith right after this on IWSports.com.
Thank you.
Why is Illinois Wesleyan the #1 school in Illinois for jobs? Maybe it's because we're the AND University. That's right, A-N-D. And here you can explore the arts and study in a pre-professional program, double major, and play a sport, do an internship, and study abroad. Your opportunities are endless. Set yourself apart with a degree from Illinois Wesleyan.
And look, that's what I think. Yes, and we didn't make them.
But I thought we had a lot of one-mores too, so.
That's what I mean. The one more, I think, would have led to higher percentage.
Back at Shirk Center, Matt Sossler alongside head coach Maya Smith following the dominant victory on both sides of the ball. Titans over the Vikings. Walk me through this.
Great win. Thought we came out first half, did everything we asked the girls to do. Thought our half-court defense and our full-court defense, our run and jump was spot on. Sawyer Wright, really impressive, getting her hands on stuff. And then the hit-aheads. I thought we looked really good in that first half. And I know it's tough when you're up, by a lot to come out the second half and really play hard. I have some concerns, though, and some of my concerns are a little bit worried about our shooting percentage. We took 35 three-point shots in that ball game. That's a lot of threes. And that's great if it's going in, but it's only going in at around 22%, and that's not high enough.
So is that a focus over the next couple of days, especially against a tough team like North Central?
Yeah, and I think the situation, we were just talking, I think the situation is we need the one more pass. The threes are open on the catch, but I think the one more pass puts us in better rhythm to knock down the three. And that's typically how we were getting made threes early in the season. We got to get back to that.
And the percentages, like you alluded to, from deep haven't been where you want them. But on the flip side, you still find ways to win. Today, It's scoring inside plus defense against Wheaton. It's creating extra possessions. How does the complementary style of basketball help this team in the case one key facet of your game doesn't work?
Yeah, exactly. So our run and jump keeps us alive. Today we were positive assist to turnover ratio. That keeps us really moving well. forcing the turnovers and giving ourselves more shots than what they took. I think Augustana is a much better team than what they showed tonight. I think they've got some weapons. I mean, we held the Pepez girl to, I think, just no points. That's impressive because she's a good scorer. So I thought we did a great job. Our post players actually, I thought, were in prime position tonight defensively. Really did a great job. And again, when we opened up that half, I think the first half, I think we had 12 assists. And that's what I like to see, is that high assist ball game.
And focusing on individual efforts, this is probably one of the most balanced games that I've seen throughout the season, where you have a few players just slightly north of double digits, but it's the volume of scorers to help get this one done.
Yeah, for the minutes that they played, especially the starters, I think their scoring percentages are pretty good. And, a lot of people in the conference, you've got two theories here. Do you play them? Do you let them get their minutes? Do you let them get their points? Or do you protect them from injury? So where we're at in the situation, and very unselfishly, our girls will tell you, protect us from the injury. So that's where we're leading.
There's that, and it's after the holiday break. It's January. You never know
back to school
what can happen. Back in class, there's a whole bunch of things going on. So it's definitely the safe move and the right move to do there. And looking ahead to North Central on Saturday, trying to ride the momentum from today. Before we get to that, you are the mastermind of defense with this team. Mentioned it to Sarah, 38 points, the second lowest amount allowed by one of your teams since 2012/2013. We've seen great defense from this group, from your prior groups, but taking it to a whole nother level today.
Yeah, when we left the season last year at the end, especially against Wartburg, we knew that half-court defense had to be a better adjustment for us, a higher priority, and I think the girls have really bought in. And we're giving them the prep, and they're really trying hard to do what we're asking of them in the prep. And they're probably one of the smartest teams that I've coached. So, again, being able to give them certain ideas on defense and then letting them execute it's really important and fun.
I asked Coach Ayersman about this pregame, but Kate Palmer recognized for her 1,000 points. Your thoughts on your all-conference everything?
Yeah, absolutely, Kate Palmer. So deserving of that 1,000 point. And, she's one that really has taken over a leadership role for us this year, and that's how you get the 1,000 points. You get the 1,000 points because you're leading your team and your team's following that leadership, and it's reciprocated. So,
North Central on Saturday, what's it going to take to keep the 0 in the L column?
Yep. Again, good defense. Pressure's got to help out. They've got a couple of interior people. Biz Daly has been throwing up 20-plus points every game, so got to make sure we continue to play great defense on her.
Titans and the Cardinals Saturday at 2 o'clock. Illinois Wesleyan remains perfect on the season with a 75-38 victory over Augustana. Brittany and I will recap this ball game, take a look ahead to Saturday when we come back on IWSports.com. Coach, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Back in Bloomington, Titans with a dominant 75-38 win over Augustana. They improve to a record of 14-0 overall, 5-0 in conference play. Augustana falls to 5-8 overall, 1-3 in CCIW, so they're now 3 games back of first place. Brittany, a win for Illinois Wesleyan that was never in trouble. Great effort on the offensive side and the defensive side. A textbook game that you want out of your team. First game back at home in conference play, just everything going right for Wesleyan.
Yeah, really solid night for them. Forced 29 turnovers. Shared the ball really well, had 18 assists, had 23 offensive rebounds. Didn't shoot it particularly great, but when you have 23 offensive rebounds, you're still finding ways to find baskets for your team. And just a really solid performance up and down the lineup, and impressed by how well they guarded. There's
always something to improve with this team. It's obvious after today. The three-point shooting, 8 of 35, 22%. Like Coach Smith said, the looks were not bad. It's the execution.
Yeah, absolutely, and that was one of the keys. We had touched on before the game. They weren't shooting a great percentage over the last 4 games, and I think this team has the ability. They shot 35 threes, so that's something they want to do. So if they could execute that at a little higher clip, you're going to see even better scores for them. And if they're shooting those and making those in the way they guard and defend and turn you over, really positive results coming down the stretch for them.
And despite shooting 8 of 35 from deep, still finished near 40%, 29 of 76. From the floor. Augustana on the other side, 13 of 50, that's 26%, 2 of 19 from deep for Augustana. Their leading scorer, Paige Melton, with 12. She's the only Viking within double figures, scoring nearly a third of their points for Illinois Wesleyan. Kate Palmer and Lauren Huber, each with 11 on what is a great night in Titan basketball. The Titan men 2 seconds of gameplay away from closing out arguably their most important win of the season. They still have Carthage on the road in the second trip through the round robin, but 80-69. Titan men victorious. A great performance by Nick Roper and Josh Fridman, each with 19. Hakeem Williams with 15. Harrison Williamson with 12. Can't remember the last time the Titan men against a quality opponent have had that much scoring from those 4. Great job all around by them. And the Titan women, it's taking care of business at this point for them, 75-38.
Yeah, just coming out doing what they do. Forcing turnovers, creating easy opportunities, and the game was never really in doubt because of that. And so, again, they'll get back to, practice and prepare for Saturday. And at this point, it's one game at a time. You're just trying to go 1-0.
A Shirk Center celebration for the 30th anniversary of this great building on Saturday. Illinois Wesleyan will take on the North Central Cardinals in a doubleheader. The women tip off at 2, the men at 4:15. Brittany and I will have coverage starting at 1:40 right here on IWSports.com for our entire crew. Katie Gonzalez and the entire athletic communications department. Tyler Wilson, our producer, and our entire crew from Bloomington, and Brittany Carper. I'm Matt Sossler. Titans win 75-38. We'll talk to you Saturday on IWSports.com.